Here's a review I've wanted to cover for years, but because my PC Engine CD went the way of the dodo, I didn't really have the means to record footage. Well, that all changed when I got the very best donation I have ever received, which was the PC Engine Duo RX, and with it I can finally review Castlevania Dracula X Rondo of Blood. Technically, it's got a much larger name than that, so let's just call it Rondo of Blood. It was originally released on October 29th, 1993, and sadly, only in Japan. It was never brought over to North America, or at least not back then. It was exclusive to the PC Engine Super CD-ROM. Now I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, wait, it was released in 2007 on the PSP as part of the Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles, and you know what? You're absolutely right. But the truth of the matter is, it took 14 years for the game to make its way to North America. And I'm not gonna review the PSP version, to hell with that. We're gonna take a look at the real deal. What you're seeing here was recorded directly from my PC Engine Duo RX and the actual game Rondo of Blood, and I'm running this footage through my XRGB-mini. The very first thing you'll see is the fact that, well, it's got animated cutscenes with full voice acting. Pretty damn amazing. Seriously, for 1993, this was a really big deal. I remember reading all the different magazines and sort of being floored because at this point in time, well, we just never really saw stuff like that, especially from a series like Castlevania. The core gameplay is very similar to the original Castlevania trilogy, in that there's really only two main action buttons. Your one to jump and your one to attack. The difference here is that you have the ability to do sort of like a backwards jump by pressing the jump button twice. Not only that, but the multi-directional whip from Super Castlevania 4 unfortunately is nowhere to be found. Now I know a lot of you guys will probably dislike that, but I really like the fact that it's got that real retro Castlevania feel to it. Do I miss the multi-directional whip? You bet your bottom dollar I do. But that doesn't prevent this game from being awesome. In order to use your weapon, you press up in the action button, which again is very similar to the original Castlevania trilogy, except this time around you have something new called the item crash. And the way this works is you press the select button and Richter basically jumps in the air and there's this super powerful move that really pretty much kills everything on the screen except for bosses, which it hurts a lot. Only downside is it requires a ton of hearts. For those that don't know, hearts are what allow you to throw or use your special weapons. Longtime fans can also appreciate the fact that all the stages might seem a little familiar, and the reason is that there are actually quite a few stages that are sort of reworks or remasters of some of the original stages from Castlevania 1, 2, and even the Castlevania Adventure on the original Game Boy. But besides those little slight homages, there's also the fact that the stages feature branching paths, and now this is extremely important because not only is it reminiscent of Castlevania 3, but it is absolutely imperative for you to explore each and every nook and cranny, because if you do, you might just find Maria. And now, why is this significant? Well, it's significant because Maria is actually a secondary playable character in this game, and that is absolutely awesome. Now, she's not exactly like Richter. What she can do is pretty damn amazing. She's got access to a double jump, a speed roll, and her attacks are kind of unique. She's got the ability to throw doves, and her weapons are typically, they take form of different animals, and her item crash is just, well, basically goofy. But you know what? Using her actually makes the game a lot easier, and you have no choice but to use her if you want to get 100% completion. And it's really sweet being able to down a whole bunch of bosses that you were having so much trouble with Richter with just super ease with Maria. I really thought that was quite hilarious, but do keep in mind she's a lot weaker than Richter, even though her attacks are way more powerful. Overall, I've got to say that Rondo of Blood is easily the best Castlevania game released before Symphony of the Night. It's my personal favorite game in the series of the action games, not the Metroidvania ones. It's got phenomenal boss battles, so much replay value you can't even imagine, and it's just so much fun to play. It also features phenomenal graphics. This game looked so much better than anything on the Sega Genesis or the SNES back in 1993. It still blows my mind how much parallax scrolling is going on, the incredible animations, sharp sprites, just everything here is absolutely beautiful. And it sucks that this was never released on the Turbo CD back in 1993, because I honestly think this one game could have really turned a lot of heads and made people go, wow. In fact, I would have made this my packing game for the Turbo CD, but that's just me. Something else that's gotta be talked about is the soundtrack. This was the first time it was on CD format, and it is incredible. Just search for some CD tracks of the soundtrack here on YouTube, and my goodness, prepare to be floored. There are so many incredible tracks from the previous Castlevania games that have all been reworked here, and they sound better than they ever have before. Many people argue that this one soundtrack is the best of any Castlevania game ever, but that I leave to you. To wrap up, I just wanted to say that Castlevania Rondo of Blood is my absolute favorite PC Engine game. So technically, it's all downhill from here, but I wanted to start with the best. Thanks for watching, and go out right now and play this incredible game any way you can.
do